Hey everyone, John Doyle from OptixEQ. It's the start of the Del Mar fall season, so I thought we'd take a look at the pick four using optics. Going to be using the plot, notes, everything. Okay, just to kind of give you at least a guide to the late pick four. We're not going to just talk about tickets, but we're going to talk about just information, how to assess it, how to look at the favorites in those sequences, and see if it's a playable sequence for you. So I'm going to start with race 5. It's a maiden claimer. It's on the turf going 8 furlongs. One of the things I want to look at, you can see the plot fit is yellow. So I want to go to summary bar. And I just think people probably should look at this more. It's very interesting. What we do is we take the aggregate for speed, plot, which is pace, and class, and basically come up with a overall or aggregate ranking. And if you go to speed, for instance, you see it's kind of looking at speed in a number of different categories. So, best for surface and distance. So it's an aggregate of all this stuff. And again, it's based on our analysis of, what's the best assessment of, a horse's overall speed, overall pace, overall class. So you can see, when you see these bars below the line, that means negative. So if you hover over any of these bars, you'll see the positive or negative number. The higher the number, the better. Okay, so in all these different categories, I'm going to just click off. This is great about this. You can kind of click off any of these categories. I'm going to just look at plot just to see which horses, when I'm looking at this, plot the best based on the track profile. To me, the numbers that are highest are in the number 7 and number 10. They look like they plot the best. You can see, 10's a square in quadrant 1, the 7's a square in quadrant 2, hovering 2 and 4. Other horses that kind of above the line from a plot perspective are the 3, the 8, and the 9. So we want to look at those. You can see visually too. You can just see those horses plot well. So I want to look at those horses a little bit more closely. So I'm going to start off with the 3. This is a horse that has had a lot of chances. It's had chances at or below today's level, which is a negative when they don't get it done. It doesn't look like a horse that likes to win. You see this grit minus. Just seeing he's had the lead going into the stretch and kind of faded. This is not a horse I want to be kind of using if I'm playing like a pick 4, I'll be honest with you. I just want to be playing against a horse like this. But I would consider this horse for underneath. Again, it depends on the price. It doesn't look like it's going to be any big value. He's 3-1 in the morning line. But this horse, from a pick 4 perspective, I probably would not be using on any ticket or backup ticket. The number 8 is the morning line favorite. Is an Irish bred. First 2 races overseas, ran pretty decently. Came to the States, and you can see the slog trouble start. That's not atypical of these European runners. First time getting acclimated to the gate and our process there. It just seems like they get off badly. Didn't run a terrible race, finished 5th, beaten 5 lengths in a maiden special race. And if you look at the note here, the extended note, might need drop and shorter. Wow. So he's getting shorter. He's going from 9 furlongs, 8 furlongs. He's getting the drop from maiden special weight, maiden claim horse. So those are positives. With a speed figure of 76, just below the range. Expect big improvement with these horses second time in the States. And, the fact that this horse has run well overseas too, a 2nd and a 4th. Now the 2nd was on synthetic, but still I wouldn't hold that against him. Gets a big rider upgrade for, winning barn at them, usually at this fall meet. So that's definitely a horse you want to consider. The other 2, which we said plotted well, were the 7. This is a horse that another Euro, I guess, and another Irish bred. And this horse ran okay in debut, thought this was a prep. US debut, came back and then had trouble. I don't like the trouble in the start, in the second race, but looked like wide and kind of negative rating tactics. So this is another horse that, likely to improve. Another little bit of a drop after dropping to the first time. So this horse is obviously a contender, especially at 6-1. And then the 10 was another one that didn't run as well, but was off a layoff last time. first time at the the tag, first time in for a tag, and again a prophetic drop by the note taker here. So there's a horse that's going to drop, and so maybe we can project some improvement. So I'd be kind of using that horse. The other one was the 9. And this horse kind of fits on speed and class and all the rest, but my concern with this horse is just there's been no improvement. And you see all these drops, right? Finally did drop this horse and still couldn't get it done at this level. Now dropping another level. Lack a little confidence with this horse. I'll be honest. Just hasn't improved with age, nor has improved with the drop. So it's kind of negative. So, the first leg, I think you have to use the favorite if that horse is going to be a favorite. I don't think he's going to be a big favorite, the 8, but you would have to use that. And I kind of look at the 7 and 10 as also horses you want to be using in probably in race 5 based on my optics analysis. Okay, I'm going to go to race 6. A little tricky. You got a plot fit that's red. So people that are kind of new to optics, what does plot fit red mean? It's just not that we're as confident as the plot being a predictor for the race outcome. But still, you can look at this and see 2 things. One is that the contention is low, speed rating is kind of average to low, and you got horses like the 7 and the 3 that are kind of like by themselves all the way to the left. And so that may mean that these horses could have a pace advantage. So 3 and 7 are horses that might consider. You can see the 2 is the favorite, and he's a horse that's toward the rear, and so that might play against him if looking at the contention, the speed rating, he may be up against it a little bit from a pace scenario. Let's look at his form. Let's go to this things. So this may be a race we might want to play against the favorite. You do want to try to beat some favorites if you're going to play these sequences. There's no sense playing them. This horse is just, it's been kind of a machine, a win machine. But you notice the red keywords, and people that are new to notes, what do the keywords mean? Well, it just indicates the trip the horse had. Basically, it's an interpretation of the trip, not just, this horse, was 3 wide or whatever. Kind of interprets the trip. So 3 back, perfect trip, wide move, which was a good race, at Del Mar. So this horse is, it's kind of 1 on the track. And then tactics plus, good rating tactics, kind of another kind of perfect trip to, so to speak. This horse is kind of paired his last 2 optics figs very high. Is there a regression? I don't know. I think the pace scenario leaves some to be desired, right? He's going to be either he's going to be farther back or he's going to be closer up if the pace is real slow. And that's not kind of his style. You can see he kind of likes to come from behind when he's closer up. He just doesn't run as fast. His last couple of races, he was coming from off the pace. He's a hard horse to leave off the ticket, I'll be honest, but think through it. He's just a horse that I'm going to try to play against a little bit. And I think the 3, a little bit of maybe of a price in the fact that this horse is 4, I guess 4 to 1 is not a big price, but this horse is second off a layoff. Notes projected that race as a prep. There's another horse that likes to win. So, and he kind of plots well. The 7 looked like maybe a pace advantage kind of horse. He's done nothing wrong, kind of improving. This is his 2nd time at this level, so no knocks there. Were there anybody else in there that kind of jumped out at me? Let's go to the summary, see if there's just anything else. The 8 looks like a little bit of has a class edge on these horses, so that's somebody we want to look at. And you can see these bars again, class, plot, which is pace and speed. This horse again looks like it may have a class edge in this race. So we always want to evaluate class edges in these kind of optional claiming or claiming races. So let's look at the 8. Kind of went off form, laid off. Yeah, I don't think this horse, based on current form, is probably a good use. The 1 is another one that kind of fits on the categories. So let's look at the 1 and the 9. Maybe there's another horse that fit on the categories. not too far off. I don't like second off a layoff and a regression, so I'm not keen on that horse. And the 9, kind of again another horse that looks like a little bit off form. I mean, I had better look out for a 2 back, but then came back, and I don't like when the horses are slow out of the gate. You know, these experienced horses, it just usually means they're kind of going sideways. Now, it was against better. I mean, if you want to go a little deeper, you maybe consider the 9, but for me, the 3 and the 7, and you know, the 2. Again, it looks like a legitimate favorite. I'm just concerned about the pace scenario for that horse in this race. So, okay, go to race 7. To me, the morning line favorite, well, the second choice looks vulnerable. I mean, it just doesn't fit. If you go to the summary bar, I mean, this horse doesn't fit on any of the categories. So I'm not using that one. The 1, really bad on the plot. That is dropping. Might have used the last race as a prep. But to me, that horse, if you go to the form, that horse looks like a sprinter. In fact, both the O'Neill horses look like so, you know, we had Shorter here at 6.5 furlongs, so stretching out for the first time. You know, look for this horse maybe for a cutback after this race. And then I think the other O'Neill too that looked like he was stretching was the 4. And that's the other horse we, you know, I think we consider 1 turn. So to me, the 1 and 4 are not suitable for the distance. The 3 looks like a play against. I just go with the squares, the 2, 5, and 6. They kind of work. Maybe the 2 is a little bit below on class. And the 5 and 6 look fine. I think the 5 is probably the value. The 6 is the favorite. I just can't distinguish. I mean, look, if I had to put a gun to my head, I would say the 5 is the best value in the race. But 2, 5, and 6 in that leg. And then race 8. This is a race I just think you want to look against the favorite. That's the number 5, Lonesome Stew. These are horses I just don't like I like to play against. This horse ran a huge figure last time, huge race in the maiden claimer, broke his against state breds. Now is trying winners for the first time, open company. First 2 races, you know, for only race in open company was pathetic. Then a turf race, maybe you can kind of forgive, but you know, the drop worked. The other thing was the Latin barn at that particular time was on fire. This is a horse I want to kind of play against in this scenario. So let's take a look at the summary bar again, just to see which horses kind of jump out. Looks like the 1 and 2 you want to be using. They're just on speed, at least on speed and plot. Look good, no knocks. And then the other horse I thought was mildly interesting was the 7. Just looks like it has such a class advantage. Let's look at the 7 quickly. Yeah, the other thing is this horse really a dirt horse? Looked like he kind of ran okay, had trouble at the start, major trouble at the start. Projected drop, so running against much better. You have to include this horse just on the drop alone. So that would be another one. Just everyone else is kind of below the bar. Looks like a little bit of the 9. Let's look at the 8 too. I just sort of plot. Look like maiden 20, just kind of really below on class. The 9 looks more turfy. Looks like more turf meant. Yeah, for this race, I mean, I just gonna simple 1, 2, and the 7, trying to play against the 5 here. Just quickly, simply looking at, you know, I think, you know, the plot, especially the summary information on the plot, just great. Can give you an assessment quickly of like which horses have a class, speed, and pace of energy. I think it is very reliable. So you want to be looking at that information. So that's it for me, John Doyle, OptixEQ. Check us out on Twitter at OptixEQ or on X at OptixEQ, and then check out our website, OptixEQ.com. And that's it for me. Good luck at Del Mar today.